Hello everyone, it's me, Ranjita. Today we are going to discuss with the next part of the chemical reactions. Okay, in the previous class we are going to discuss with the activity 1. We completed with that activity and also we saw the video for the activity 1. Now we are going to discuss with the next activities that prescribed in your textbook to explain the chemical reactions. You already know that what is chemical reaction, right? You already know what is chemical reaction. Now we are going to discuss with some more examples for this chemical reactions. What are the some more important examples for the chemical reactions? To explain this one, what is the first activity we discussed with? When the magnesium, if it is react with the oxygen, it forms the magnesium oxide. Okay, this is the first activity equation what we discussed. Today we are going to discuss with the second activity by taking what is this PbNO3. Pb is for lead and NO3 is nitrite. Therefore, what is this PbNO3? It is lead nitrite. Pb is lead and NO3 is nitrite. Therefore, PbNO3 is lead nitrite. When this lead nitrite, if it is reacted with the K is potassium and I is iodide. Okay. When this lead nitrite, if it is reacted with the potassium iodide, here the lead nitrite is the solution. That is, it is the liquid. Okay. Here the solution of the lead nitrite, if it is reacted with the potassium iodide. If the lead nitrate, if it is reacted with the potassium iodide, if the liquid is reacted with the potassium iodide, it forms PbI, that is lead iodide. Lead iodide is the solid. Therefore, the interconversion of the state also takes place in the chemical reactions. The liquid is converted to the solid. Therefore, whenever the chemical reaction takes place, maybe the interconversion of the states also takes place. The conversion from the liquid to the solid. Maybe you understood now. Okay, this is the one of the activity, that is one of the example to show the chemical reaction. What is the example I said? When this lead nitrite, if it is reacted with the potassium iodide, Ki means potassium iodide, and PbNO3 is lead nitrite. When this lead nitrite, if it is reacted with the potassium iodide, it forms the potassium iodide and potassium, lead iodide and potassium nitrite is formed. KNO3 is potassium nitrite and PbI is the lead iodide. The interconversion from the liquid to solid takes place. This is the one of the activity to explain that change of state also takes place in the chemical reactions. If you see the another one activity that prescribed in your textbook, that means you want to take the zinc granules. If you see the diagram here, you want to take first, this operator is called as the conical flask. Okay, this operator is called as the conical flask. If you see this operator, for this operator, first you want to take the zinc granules. The purple color what I written, it is considered as the zinc granules. Okay, if the zinc granule is, if it is reacted with the dilute HCl, the HCl is hydrochloric acid. If it is reacted with the HCl, HCl is nothing but hydrochloric acid. And this H2SO4, what is this H2SO4? H2SO4 is called as the sulfuric acid. Okay, when this zinc granules, that is Zn, if it is reacted with the HCl or if it is reacted with the sulfuric acid. I written the reaction only for the when the zinc is reacted with the HCl. Okay, you can guess the reaction for the zinc if it is reacted with the sulfuric acid also. When this zinc, if it is reacted with the hydrochloric acid, that means what the zinc granules we are taken in the conical flask. For that zinc, if you had the dilute HCl, what happens means is zinc, if it is reacted with the HCl, zinc reacted with the HCl, that is Zn react with the Cl. Why it is Cl2 means here we are taking the 2 moles of chlorine, 2 moles of HCl and 2 moles of chlorine. That's why this Zn, if it is react with the chlorine, to form ZnCl2. It forms ZnCl2 plus 2H is remaining. This 2H is liberated in the form of hydrogen, H2. You can ask that why, ma'am, after the H you are going to write the symbol of the arrow mark. We want to indicate the gases by using the upward direction. If the any gases is liberated in the equation means we want to indicate that by using the upper direction. That indicates that liberation of the hydrogen gas. What is the reaction? I am going to tell one more time. When the zinc, if it is reacted with the HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. When zinc, if it is react with the HCl, it forms ZnCl2, that is zinc chloride, plus hydrogen gas is evolved. You can write for the next reaction, that is it may react with the hydrogen sulfate also. Therefore, can you write the reaction for this one? When the zinc, if it is reacted with the sulfuric acid, what made the product? When the zinc, if it is reacted with the sulfuric acid, can you tell what made the product you will get? Can you write the reaction further? Try to write the reaction further. When the zinc, if it is reacted with the sulfuric acid, what is the product you get? Okay. Here is the equation to explain that if the zinc is reacted with the hydrogen sulfate, what is the product get? What is the product get when the zinc is reacted with the sulfuric acid? You get zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate plus hydrogen is liberated. In this reaction, you can tell that when the chemical reaction takes place, the liberation of the gases also takes place. By seeing this activity, we can tell that when the chemical reactions are goes on, the liberation of the hydrogen gas is liberated. You can ask that, ma'am, how can we tell that the liberated gas is hydrogen only? How you can tell that is the liberated gas is hydrogen only? There is one simple experiment is there to explain that is the liberated gas is hydrogen or liberated gas is other than hydrogen is there. What is this experiment means? Finally, in that the hydrogen gas is liberated. That hydrogen gas, what the liberated hydrogen gas, if it is reacted with any flame or if it is hold on to the flame, it makes the pop sound. What is the sound it makes? Pop. You get the pop sound. When the liberated gas is just ignited to the flame, if the hydrogen gas is ignited to the flame, you get the pop sound. This pop sound tells that the liberated gas is hydrogen. This is the one of the experiment to explain that what is the liberated gas. Only the hydrogen gas forms the pop sound when it is reignited to the flame. This all three activities, if you see that all the three activities, by seeing these three activities, we can tell that after the completion of the chemical reaction or when the reaction is going on, when the chemical reaction is going on, the change of state takes place. This is some of the characteristics of the chemical reaction. Now I am going to tell some of the characteristics of the chemical reaction by seeing these activities only. By seeing this activity, we can tell that what are the characteristics of the chemical changes. What are the characteristics of the chemical changes? The first one, the change of state takes place, change of temperature takes place, And if you see this activity, change of color also takes place. It is the white in color, but after that it converted into the yellow. Therefore, conversion, that means change of color also takes place, and change of state also takes place. If you see this one, this is liquid, but it converted into the solid. Therefore, change of state takes place, change of color takes place, change of temperature takes place. If you see the sum of the reaction, that is when you are taking the quicklime, that the quicklime is nothing but sunna. Okay, when you're taking the quicklime, if that quicklime, if it is reacted with the water, take some quicklime. That this activity you can do in your home. Take some of the quicklime, put into the one beaker, or sometimes if you are not get the beaker, you put into the one of the glass and put some of the water to it. And see the surface of that glass, hold it in your palm and check that is the temperature is increased. Yes, the temperature of that glass is increased. This is done by means in this chemical reaction, the change of temperature takes place. When your calcium oxide, that is your quicklime, when this quicklime, if it is, you just give the water to this quicklime, what happens means the calcium oxide, the formula of the quicklime is calcium oxide. Okay, the formula of the quicklime is calcium oxide. This calcium oxide, if it is reacted with the water, that is H2O, when calcium oxide, that is CaO, when calcium oxide, if it is reacted with the water H2O, it forms calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. When the calcium oxide, that is CaO, and the calcium oxide, if it is reacted with the water, that is H2O, it forms calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. And some amount of heat is liberated. By seeing this equation only, we can tell that change of temperature also takes place during the chemical reaction. During the chemical reaction, the change of state, change of color, change of temperature, and also liberation of the gases all takes place. These are the some of the important characteristics of chemical reaction. What are the important characteristics of the chemical reaction? If you see, the change of state takes place, change of color takes place, change of temperature, and the next one is the liberation of the hydrogen gas. If you see this all the kinds of reaction, one question is arises in your mind, right? One question is arises in your mind. What is this? What is that question means? If you see that only in this reaction, only the chemical reaction takes place. In our nature, no chemical reaction takes place. Nothing is done in the nature. Yeah, so many chemical reaction takes place around us. We can see that, but we can't tell that this is the chemical reaction. What is those chemical reactions means? Simple chemical reactions we will see. The conversion of the water to curd, to milk to curd. Okay, the conversion of the milk to curd. This is also the one of the important chemical reaction. The conversion of the water to curd is milk to curd is an example for the chemical reaction. And the presence of the sourness in the lemon, and if you see any of the citric fruits. What is that citric fruits or citrus fruits means? Due to the presence of the citrus, the chemical in that food, the fruits, that's why it gives the sourness to the fruits. Okay, that's why it gives the sourness to the fruits. That's why it is called as an citrus fruits. Due to the presence of the citric acid in that fruit is known as the citrus fruits. And these are some of the characteristics of the chemical reaction. Now we are going to discuss with the chemical equation. What is this chemical equation? And what are the forms? You already know that what are the two forms of the chemical equation. One is the symbolic form, or it is also known as the skeleton form. And another equation is the word equation. You already know the two things. How we are going to write the word equation and how we are going to write the chemical equation, the skeleton equation. Before, you want to know that what is the definition of the chemical equation. What is chemical equation means? The symbolic representation. If you see the chemical equation, it is the symbolic representation of the chemical reaction. The symbolic representation of the chemical reaction, and also the balanced in the reactant side and the balanced in the product side. It should be balanced. The reactant should is always equals to the product side. The reactant side is always equals to the product side. This type of the equations are known as the chemical equation. One more time I will tell what is the chemical equation. It is the symbolic representation of the chemical reaction in which always the reactant side is equals to the product side. Both the sides should be equal. Okay, the reactant side should be equal to the product side. I already written and show that the LHS should be the reactant and RHS should be the product. Okay. After knowing the definition of the chemical equation, you already know that what is word root and what is the skeleton word equation. The word equation means representation of the elements by the word. The representation of the element by the word is known as word equation. And what is the skeleton equation means? Representation of the equation by using the symbols. The representation of the equation by the symbols are known as skeleton equation. Now, the best and the most important topic of this chapter, balancing of chemical equation. Why we are going to balance the chemical equation? Is it any necessary? Is there any necessary to balance the equation? Remain it as it is. We don't want to balance the equation. If you not balance the equation, the reaction is not complete. You also know that the law of conservation of mass. In the last class only I won't explain that. What is law of conservation of mass? What is law of conservation of mass? The masses are neither be created nor be destroyed, but it converted from the one state of matter to the another state. That's why it is known as the law of conservation of mass. According to this law of conservation of mass, one more definition we can tell. Always the mass of the reactant side should be equal to the mass of the product side. The mass of the reactant side is always equals to the mass of the product side. This is also the one of the definition of the law of conservation of mass. Therefore, always the reactant side should be equal to the product side. Therefore, what is balancing of equation? The balancing of equation is nothing but to balance the product side and to balance the reactant side. The balancing of the reactant side and the balancing of the product side by using the symbols. Okay, by using the symbols, we are going to balance the equation. This is known as balancing of chemical equation. And if you know some example, now we are going to see some of the examples for balancing of chemical equation. We are going to discuss with you some of the example for the chemical equation. First, I explain the steps. What are the steps involved in the chemical equation, balancing of equation. Next, we are going to see one or two examples for this. If you see the balancing of chemical equation, there are mainly 6 steps. If you are going to balance the chemical equation, there are mainly 6 steps. What are the 6 steps means? The first step, I am going to explain with you the first step. In the first step, you want to write what is the equation they given. You want to write that equation, but you want to use one box to that element. Understood? The first step. In the first step, you are going to write the boxes for the element. Nothing you want to change. In the first step, you are going to write only the boxes of the element. In the step 2, In the step 2, you are going to write the how many elements are present, how many number of elements are present in the reactant side and how many number of elements are present in the product side. Just take one example. If hydrogen is present in the reaction, you want to see that how many number of hydrogen is present in the reactant side and how many number of hydrogen is present in the product side. This is the second step. First step, you want to write the boxes for the element. Second step, you are going to count the number of elements present in the reactant side and number of the reactant present in the product side. Step 3. Now you are going to see that which element is having the maximum number. Consider hydrogen is the maximum, you want to take the hydrogen, or oxygen is the maximum number, you want to take the oxygen. Like that, you want to take the maximum number of the element that present in the chemical reaction. Then first you want to balance that element. Which one having the more number, you want to balance that element first. Balance it. I will show with an example, I will show how you are going to balance. Balance that in the reactant side should be also the same number and in the product side also should be in the same number. Therefore, reactant and product should be balanced. After in the next 2 steps also, 2 to 3 steps, you are going to do like this only. You want to take one of the element in the reactant side and one of the element in the product side. Then you are going to balance it. After that, after balancing all the elements, what are the present in the chemical reaction, now you are going to see it. Okay, now you are going to see that is that every element is be balanced. In the last step, you are going to see that every element is get balanced or not. If it is balanced, you want to write that the chemical equation is balanced. And in the last, this much is enough. This steps is enough. When you are writing that the chemical reaction is balanced, that much is enough for your final examination. Another one step is there. It is for your higher studies. They want to write the states of the element also. If they consider that hydrogen is in the gaseous state, you want to write it as G. If the hydrogen in the liquid state, you want to write it as L. Like that, you want to represent the states of the elements also. It is up to your mark, you can write it, or otherwise you will stop that when you are all balanced with the elements. This is how we are going to balance the equation. Okay, one time I will tell it. In the first step, you are going to write the boxes. In the second step, you are going to count the number of elements in the reactant side and the product side. In the third step, you are going to take the first maximum number element to balance. The next steps also the same thing. You want to balance the elements only. In the last step, you want to count. Again, you want to count the number of elements in the product side as well in the reactant side. And you want to balance the equation. And finally, you want to write that it is balanced. And the last step is by writing the states. It is not required. I said that it is not required, but just know it. You want to write the states of the elements also. This is how you are going to balance the equation. This is about how we are going to balance the equation. And in the next class, we are going to know the sum of the examples to balance the equation. We are taking the sum of the examples and we are going to balance the equation. Okay, guys, I think you understood everything. Have understood with these activities, and also I think you understood with the how we are going to balance the equation. But in the next class, we are going to some of the examples. We took the sum of the example to balance the equation, and we are practically balance the equation. Okay, guys, bye.